Hello there everyone, this is Commodore Urban, and today I want to talk to you guys about something I just thought about. And this is just crazy, but this is coming from a big U buff. And I thought to myself, what would happen if the United States lines didn't lay up the United States when they did in November of 1969? What if they kept her in service? What if they were smarter than they were and they would have capitalized on the cruising industry that was booming at the time? This is just my idea. Some other big U buffs or ocean liner enthusiasts may not have the same views, but this is something I could have figured that could have happened. Alright, November of 1969, the SS United States goes to Newport News to have her annual overhaul. But beforehand, a number of voyages and several cruises were canceled, but not the upcoming 55-day cruise that was supposed to happen in January 1970, the Grand Pacific Cruise. That was still on. But then when the ship went down to the pier, down to the pier in Newport News to start the process of being overhauled, several days later, the call was made that the ship was to be laid up indefinitely, and her service with the United States Lines was terminated. What if the United States Lines had the foresight of capitalizing on the cruising industry that was booming at the time? Now here's what I'm thinking. Instead of laying up this money-losing ship, what if rebranding the ship into something else? And I'm thinking similar to what Richard Hadley was trying to do in the 1980s. And yes, if you're a big U-buff like I am, then you know of Richard Hadley. He was a real estate tycoon from Seattle who purchased the ship in the 1980s with the intentions of turning her into a five-star grand floating hotel of sorts. One of the best cruise liners that would come out to date. And he even had extensive plans and drawings and, ideas of rebuilding the once proud blue ribbon champion of the Atlantic into a, world-class cruise liner. What if the United States Lines had that foresight before, like Hadley did, in taking this amazing blue ribbon champion of the Atlantic and the pride of the North Atlantic fleet and transforming her into a world-class cruise liner? Well, that wouldn't be too hard. I mean, there'd be several things they would have to do. They would have to utterly add several more decks to the ship because, the private balcony sensation that was going on through about the 80s and 90s. That would alter her appearance. And in doing so, that would also alter her structure. But other things that would have to change too, like the outdoor decks would have to be added some more features. Like they have to add lounging space. They have to add more deck courts. Have to add open swimming pools. And probably what they would do is they probably would remove one of the engine rooms and make her from a quad screw to a twin screw ship. So half her speed. Or more likely, what would be the case, the amazing steam machinery that made her a legendary liner and made her famous would have been gutted out and replaced with diesels. Yeah, I really don't like the sound of that either, but that's probably what would have happened. Or there's another thing they could have done. They could have taken that steam machinery and they could have added automated systems to it to make it run more efficiently. They could have done that as well. But probably they would have went with diesel because the high price of bunker C fuel, bunker C being the grade, the thick black shit that these ships, basically ate to get their power from, it was skyrocketing. And diesel fuel at the time was cheap. So I could see the conversion to diesel being more of a practical solution to it. So let's just say if the United States Lines kept the United States in service for another year, up until 1971. Of course, she would have went on a Grand Pacific cruise. She probably would have had multiple more cruises and several voyages. But then they would have taken her out of service and possibly probably take her back to Newport News for a complete rebuild into a one-class, ultra-modern cruise liner, which would mean alterations to her upper decks, upper structures, mechanical-wise she'd be altered, and she'd come out basically like a fresh ship. Still with the great heritage she had, but with a new personal message going forward. So let's say this ship, the United States, now let's just call her cruise ship, United States. She entered service in 1971, 1972 for the rejuvenated United States Cruise Lines. And this ship has ultimate success. Well, this ship probably would have been in service probably for several more decades, probably. Probably she would have been in service through the 70s, 80s, and probably up through the 90s. And then they'll probably would have replaced her, and then she would have been in the same situation she was in now. Rusting, derelict, and probably ready for the scrapyard. But, the way I look at it, they could have rejuvenated the ship, brought more profit, and the United States Lines wouldn't be defunct. The reason why United States Lines went out of business, they gambled on a class of ships that were built from a shipyard. It was I don't remember the shipyard, but they all had mechanical issues and stuff, and the freight charging rates they were charging to carry freight was a lot more than the competition. See, if United States Lines was smart, they could have rejuvenated a ship into a cruise liner, and charged less on their freight rates, and also had a little bit more dependable mechanical systems on their cargo vessels. United States Lines would be in the black and would have been a happy company today instead of being now just a name in maritime history books. But as for the United States, she probably would have been worn out due with use and age, and and then once she was retired, there would be no use really to preserve the ship because of the fact that she has been altered so severely for the use of a cruise liner that the stuff that made her significant is now not there, and she probably would have been. Yeah, sure. So she would have been yanked up and pulled off and hauled to the scrapyard. So, yeah, I know it's bleak, but that's the way it is. Well, I gotta go, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you do, hit thumbs up. Got any questions or comments, leave them down below. And as always, if you're new, subscribe. Till next time, this is Common Urban saying, have smooth seas and clear skies. Happy sailing with you, and God bless. You have a good day now, right? Take care. Good day.